G'day guys, welcome back to another Rosh Reviews, where today we are doing a very special video. We are going to be remembering the great race car driver Peter Brock in an authentic HDT here. So this is a 1 of 500 VE VC HDT Commodore, and you know this is a legit one. It's manual, it's supercharged, all the fruit is done. We got the paperwork to prove it, and this is just going to be special. So we're here in Gijiganap. We are on the infamous road where unfortunately he lost his life. We're going to go drive down to his memorial. We're going to pay our respects. We're going to check it out. We're going to remind you of all the cool things he done. We're going to see how these things actually perform when they're HDT enhanced. And it should just be a lot of fun. It should be an awesome video, an awesome day. So let's get in this car. Let's fire it up. It sounds $1 million. Yo, this thing rips, man. It absolutely rips. And that was what HDT was really all about. You know, it was taking a standard Holden Commodore and just going to town with it, guys. It's like AMG, you know, like BMW's M division. Like, this was kind of like, it was just like that, essentially. HDT was kind of just that more hardcore, that more race car, because HDT, guys, it stands for Holden Dealer Team. And these were essentially the official, unofficial racing team of Holden throughout the late 60s, all throughout the 70s, the 80s. And Holden dealer teams used to make these cars enhanced. Like, there were homologation specials. So some of the race cars, you know, Peter Brock infamously did, I believe it was his first one, the Blue Meanie, the VK Blue Meanie. And I believe that Group A SS, it was a homologation car that they legitimately had to build for regulation. So it was a race car for the road. And that's how it got the infamous, you know, notoriety, because Peter Brock, the amazing race car driver, he was the one who was like, yep, this is what I want to do. Let's do this. Let's change that. And it was just iconic. Now, whether you called him Brocky, whether you called him the King of the Hill, you know, just Perfect Pete, whatever nickname you gave him, the guy was an absolute racing legend. You know, he just became so damn unstoppable. Again, you know, in that iconic Marlboro, you know, paint scheme he had on his cars, man, it was just such a badass looking thing, wasn't it? And the fact is, HDT was building, you know, just these crazy performance and visual modifications as well. So this particular one, guys, again, it's a VE, it's a VC. So you call it a VE VC Retro. And this takes your standard VE Commodore 6-liter SS or an SSV, and you turn it into what you see right here. It's got a supercharger now, which was an option. I believe this thing makes like 450 kilowatts, which that is healthy. And you've got full exhaust system on this. You know, you've got HDT embroidered into the seats. You know, they did HDT suspension on this. The wheels, so you've got these 19-inch, I don't even know how you pronounce the name, but they're these very 80s style wheels, which I think are cool. And you've got the body kit, you know, that wing on the back, I absolutely love it. You've got the bonnet scoop up front, you know, all the stickers around it. Now, just quickly, we got to say a huge thanks to NextRide as well. They loaned us this HDT today to drive. This is for sale. It is currently the cheapest VE VC Retro you can get in Oz right now too. So I'll leave a link for them down below if you guys are interested. Click the link, go check them out. They've always got cool cars at NextRide, so huge thanks to them for letting me take this out today. Oh, the exhaust. The exhaust is just crazy in this thing. And it pulls, man. It absolutely pulls. You know, Peter Brock would have been having a hoot in this thing, I tell you what. It's definitely a big muscle car. So, you know, around these corners, it's got the upgraded suspension, but you still got to be mindful. The rear end is very playful too, so I wouldn't be stepping on the accelerator going around a corner here. That's just me personally. But, you know, you go through here with some caution on the bends, on the straights, you give it some. Man, this is just pure HDT Aussie fun. And yeah, this type of a road too, it's so well suited. It's so fun. And I feel like I'm in a retro muscle car in this. Yes, it's a VE, it's a modern car essentially, but being a 6-speed manual, having a big 6-liter V8 up front still, you know, the thing's supercharged, the noise of it, it feels very mechanical. We got a short shifter in here, heavy duty clutch, and it just feels fun. It feels like you got to know how to race to use this thing properly. It feels like you actually got to do something in here. And I feel like it's very much still, it's a fraction, but it's still got some of that true HDT feel of it. You know what I mean? Like back in the 70s, the 80s, man, these guys, like you got Alan Moffat, you got, you know, Peter Brock, just some of these absolute legends of the Australian touring car scene were just like, to put it into, like, for somebody to actually understand how crazy these guys were handling these cars. It's like the technology they had, like, just, they were just brutal, basic cars they had. And these guys were absolutely full sending them. And, you know, it's no easy feat to do that. You gotta have raw skill. You know, you gotta have balls bigger than New Mexico. And you gotta know when to brake, when to hit it, how much to turn in. Like the footage, just look at some of this footage. You know, these guys were absolutely hauling ass. And these were big, chunky, heavy, bulky race cars that, you know, were just so raw and brutal. The fact that they could get them to go around a circuit as quick as they did, you know, it just showed how much skill these guys had. And balls. That's probably the number one. Now, funny enough, again, I say this was like Holden's semi-official racing team, because in the late 60s, Holden saw the potential of, you know, getting a large customer base through motorsports. And, you know, they were building some awesome cars then, and they wanted to get involved. Well, GM basically forbade all of their manufacturers from entering the motorsports. I don't ask me why. I don't know. If you guys know, leave it in the comments. But they said, no, we don't want you to start a race team. Nope. So what they did instead was basically just rename it Holden Dealer Teams, and then just had all the dealers, I believe, own it. So it wasn't really anything to do, I guess, with Holden. It was the dealer team. So
may have been surprised when Holden decided to withdraw its support for the Holden dealer team in 1980, saying it didn't make sense for the factory to compete against private entrants driving their vehicles. John Shepherd resigned, and Peter Brock and John Harvey were left without a team.
Effectively, the team was available to purchase. We decided Peter should buy it, and I'm sure Peter had to borrow some money. It became the Holden dealer team, which it always was, but it was financed by the dealers, and that was the catalyst that started HDT Special Vehicles. The dealers agreed to finance the team on the basis that Peter start a special vehicles operation and use his racing knowledge and experience to develop some cars for the road that would appeal to the punters. So that's where it all came from. But of course the The difficult part for the marketing department and the PR department was to actually explain how it had always been known as the Holden dealer team, but now it really was the Holden dealer team who were paying for it.
For so many years, this was like the unofficial, official team, which is cool. And I feel like that's awesome that they were like, nah, stuff you, GM. We're doing this shit anyways. And that's the Aussie spirit, I feel like. You know, no one's gonna tell an Aussie, especially back in the late 60s, early 70s, no, you can't do that, because my God, let me tell you, they will find a way, and they don't care how they do it either. So, you know, it was gonna happen. I'm glad it happened, and it's just a fun, brutal muscle car, and to me, that is pure HDT. I absolutely love it. And guys, as always, if you're enjoying this type of content, make sure you are subscribing. We have just about to hit 60,000 followers, and we are chasing that 100K goal. We should be there already, guys. Share this video, please subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment. That's how the algorithm helps us. Yeah, this car on the infamous Gidgee Gannup O'Brien Road here, Targa West Rally, where they held it, in an HDT. I'm loving this, guys. I hope you are too, so subscribe and hit the like button. Now we are out here, guys, at the memorial now, and look, we've just parked up. We're gonna show you guys here. This is a little shrine that's dedicated to Peter Brock. As you can see, 1945 to 2006, RIP, you know, the king of the mountain here. And I love the fact that as well on the backside, there is just that little Easter egg to him, you know, in that XU1. It's got Brock on the plates. And, you know, there's a little shrine here that people have left flowers and trinkets. It is a place that people do frequent quite a bit. And it's a local spot, I guess you could say. As you can see, there are a lot of rubbers. So there's a lot of people paying tributes that way, though I will tell you guys, there is a hidden camera in one of these trees here, so I wouldn't recommend doing that, at least on this section here. But it's really quite beautiful, like the feeling to be out here in an HDT. You know, it's sad, obviously, that Peter Brock crashed on this road. And you might have to leave in the comments, I believe it was this sweeper. So this is quite a tricky, long left sweeper, and it comes quite steeply down the hill. And I believe that is where, unfortunately, he lost control in his Daytona sports car, which was just ridiculously modified. And unfortunately, he didn't survive. He had a passenger as well. Thankfully, he did survive. But as you can see, you know, some of these pictures, like, he just took the full force on his driver's side door. So there really was no hope for him, unfortunately. But I mean, you know, he was a race car driver through and through. You know, he was 60-something years old when he crashed. So it was in his DNA, it was in his blood. He knew the risks, and you know what I mean? You know, when you see the footage of how quick and how raw and talented this man was in his prime, it's, you know this guy just lived for it. And you got to appreciate him on that. You know, at least he went out the way he probably would have wanted to, you know, in a race car, sending it. So I feel like the celebration today, this video, you know, unfortunately, I believe this was the corner. If it wasn't this corner, I think it was. I'm 90% sure it was this corner. Leave a comment down if I've made a mistake here. Again, I don't know every detail. This happened before I even moved to Australia. It was in 2006 that this happened, September 8th, I believe. And yes, I don't believe we do Targa West events on this road anymore since then. So it is sad that, you know, this road is treacherous. I come here a lot for reviews. It's very windy. It's very up and down. So you do have to take care, you know, no matter who you are. But I do want to jump back into this car one last time, one last send, just down the road and back. So let's jump back in this HDT, fire it up, and see what it can actually do. As we say bye-bye to the Peter Brock Memorial, guys, we'll charge it up here a little bit and a little bit of a one for Peter Brock, you know what I mean? Rest in peace, the legend. Again, this is one of the best Commodores. You know, it's an HDT, but it's still a Commodore I've been in a while. Yeah, like just in terms of response, how it drives. Yeah, this thing is awesome. It's playful, it's responsive. I tell you what, people who bag on about the VE ones, oh, that's not a real, you know, HDT. Mate, this is an HDT, guys. I tell you what, like, this thing come from HDT, done up by HDT. It's an HDT, bro. Like, and I tell you what, man, the mods they've done to this thing are just spectacular. Like, this drives better than a Waukesha enhanced one, I tell you what. Oh my goodness. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah, this thing, it's pure joy. It is pure old school joy. And with all the electrification garbage of nowadays, the old wokeism of 2023, this is something you'll want to keep for a very long time. Like, this is a dream car right here. The mods, you know, HDT has really gone to town with this thing. It's perfect. This thing, it is bloody perfect. So good. Look, I'm gonna finish the video off here today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this trip with me down out here in Gidgegannup, down O'Brien Road, where unfortunately, you know, Peter Brock took his last drive. And, you know, the guy was an absolute legend, just a superstar in terms of a race car driver. And, you know, we miss him. We absolutely do. There's no more holding him forward. It's a crying shame. And, yeah, you got to hold on to what we got at the moment. So I enjoyed this. This was an awesome day. I hope you guys did as well. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here. We'll see ya on that next video, guys. Take care.